Good day, YouTube. Today I have something of an interesting topic in the sense that it's not traditional to the videos that I usually make, which are advice or sharing experiences, positive or negative. It's kind of like that in a way. And the question is, do I ever chew out people in the Air Force? And I have several examples of my experiences. You probably don't know the real me in the sense of how I am off camera, because I'm always delivering a message. But what you see is what you get with me, in the sense that what you see is what you get. What I mean by that is I'm laid back, I'm easygoing, I like to laugh, I love to take care of my business, whether it's my job or in my personal life. I like to take care of what I have to, and then I like to just kind of like go with the flow and relax. But have I ever chewed out people in the Air Force? I have several examples, and I'll give those to you right now. When I was an A1C, Airman First Class, I was in the fire department, and I was working at that time Monday through Friday shifts because I was working extinguisher maintenance. So that meant I would work Monday through Friday, 7 to 5, working with all of the extinguishers on 2 bases, whether it's halon, dry chemical, water, all of the extinguishers. So I worked with both shifts. My shift that I used to work on before, and the other shift. And one day there was a tech sergeant who was very grouchy consistently, which is okay, because you know what you're going to get with that guy. And then he made a comment to me, and I kind of felt like he took something out on me when I didn't even deal with this guy. And I went right back at him, and we went back and forth. And maybe it's because I was an Airman First Class, but I was a little bit older already. So I don't look for trouble, but when trouble finds me, if you are wrong and you're accusing me of something, that's when we're going to butt heads. If I make a mistake and I'm wrong and somebody calls me out on it, I respect that to the fullest because I put myself in that situation. So we went back and forth. It wasn't that big of a deal. I called him out, and he tried to pull his rank over me and thought I was going to back down, which I didn't. Fast forward a few years later, when I was a senior airman, I had retrained into personnel. I had a challenge with the captain, and I didn't back down because I knew I hadn't done anything wrong. So I called her out, and of course, I stood at the position of attention for like 15 minutes because that's what she had me do, and she yelled at me. Eventually, I asked if I could give my version of whatever happened, and she said yes. By the time we were done, we were good to go. I was still upset because I felt I hadn't done anything wrong. Again, if I do something wrong, I'm going to take it. Eventually, I commissioned as an officer in the Air Force. Again, I'm that same person. Laid back, easygoing. I take care of business first and foremost all the time. And then if there's time to have a good time, we are going to do that. And I think a lot of the people that I used to work with, some of them became friends, even if they were enlisted, would say the exact same thing, that I'm very laid back. And I would be direct when needed to. But if there's no need to be like that because people already know the type of personality that someone is, in my case, myself, then they're going to make it happen. And right before I retired this year, I did have to call out an individual who I used to supervise and who was a lot older than me. But if I had to do that, I would do it. So yes, I have no problem calling out someone as needed, when needed. It's not my first way of doing things, but I can definitely be direct to the point as needed. Now let me share something that happened today. I'm a civilian now for the Air Force, and I got called out by someone completely off guard, wasn't expecting that, and in my opinion, the person made a comment to myself which was not correct for him to do that, but he did, and I came right back at him. Now, I don't know if the person is enlisted or officer because they are in civilian clothing, but I went right back at that person, and then I was bothered. So I have no problem calling out someone again as needed. But when I say I was bothered, I went back to the individual and I apologized for what I not had said, because I didn't really say anything bad other than I just kind of like snapped at the person, my reaction. again, that's not the way I like to do business or handle myself, but I am human just like other people. And the problem that I have is if somebody's going to call me out and they're wrong, I'm going to have a big problem with that, and I'm going to go right back at that person. Whereas if someone is calling me out and they're right because of something that I did or I put myself in a situation, I have no problem doing that. So to end a long story, do I chew out people? Do I call out people? Absolutely when needed. And it's not my way of doing business. Now, I realize you cannot please everyone, and that is not my goal, to please everyone. My goal is to do my job. And at the same time, on the personal side, do I have a problem calling out, whether it's my wife, my son, my daughter, a family friend, or a family member? No, I don't. I've realized the best thing I can do is speak my mind, know what I'm talking about, and two wrongs don't make a right. Often, in the past, and even recently, that's my weakness, is if you're calling me out for something and you're wrong, the worst thing that I can do is be wrong as well, where two wrongs don't make a right. And I'm always trying to improve myself where I don't do that, because later on I have to apologize to someone for being wrong as well. I'd rather just say, you know what, expect the unexpected, but don't live with an armor up or always on defensive. I don't like to live that way, and that's not exactly how I live, so I get caught off guard. It's something I'm just working on. Hope you've enjoyed it. Take care. I thought of something that definitely has to go on this video, and that is that the military is very unique in the sense that when you are in uniform, you have your rank, whether it's low or high, enlisted or officer. And rank should never be one of those things that because I said so, you have to do it. At least that's my opinion. In the military, there's that structure where if we have to do something, we do it. And if there's a question to be asked, ask. As long as it's a legitimate question. Don't just be asking questions to waste time. I was never an individual, when I was in uniform, to throw my rank around and say, you see this, or you see this, that's why we're going to do it. We knew what we had to do. Does that happen in the service where some people throw their rank? Yes, it does happen here and there, but it's not my style. It never was. Rank was irrelevant. We knew we had to do a job. We would do it and press forward. And if you have to use your rank to get something done, then maybe you have to reevaluate why you're asking someone to do it or how you're asking someone to do it, because it shouldn't come to that. It should be rank speaks for itself. We have to do what we have to do, and don't use your rank to chew out people just because you outrank them. At least not my style of doing things.